Maraming salamat, Professor Pamagay. I'll have to start with some disclosures so that you may understand where I'm coming from. Although I should say that these disclosures do not materially or substantially affect the scientific analysis that I'm going to offer. I fought against the dictatorship up to its ouster. I was an unwilling guest of the detention camps from September 1973 to December 74. I was tortured for about 2 weeks. I'm not sure how long. And the combined experience, I should say, strengthened my resolve to fight against the dictatorship. I continued fighting the dictatorship after release from prison. Now, let's tackle the topic of political rehabilitation. For those of you in photography, if you're familiar with the program Lightroom, you can rehabilitate and de-rehabilitate people, objects. So, for example, if there's a group photo and you want to remove somebody, you can do so through that software. You want to restore that person, you can do so also through that software. But that is old hat. The Soviets have been doing that under Mr. Stalin. If somebody falls out of favor, that person gets painted out or blackened out of the photograph. The same was true during the time of Mao Zedong, during his reign in China. We're not talking about that kind of rehabilitation. We're talking of political rehabilitation, and we are talking of the restoration of a person's political state from a previous one. Okay. Now the question is, was it necessary to rehabilitate the Marcoses? I would put forward the hypothesis that it was not necessary because they only suffered a temporary loss of status. I will ask members of the audience, what kind of history were you taught in high school? Were you taught that martial law was either good or bad? Were you taught that Mr. Marcos brought harm or shame to the country? You did. And therefore, there is no need for rehabilitation because their status is more or less secure. Their status is only harmed in so far as those who went through the struggle against the dictatorship. As for the rest of the country, they don't need any rehabilitation. Now, how do we interpret the earlier electoral defeats suffered by members of the Marcos family in 1992? Madam Imelda ran for the presidency. She lost. In 1995, Bongbong Marcos ran for senator. He lost. After that, members of the Marcos family were able to win sub-national positions like governor or congressman, etc., etc. But it's only in 2010 that a Marcos, in the person of Bongbong Marcos, was able to win a national level position as senator. Okay. How do we interpret that? Is that political rehabilitation? Well, you can say yes, it is political rehabilitation compared to the electoral defeats that they sustained in earlier years. On the other hand, if we look at the campaign run by Bongbong Marcos, he did a very good job, in my estimate. Number one, he did not associate himself in any way with his father. Okay. Although he tries to sound like his father, he adopts the baritone of his father, but he never associated himself with his father, and therefore avoided the trap of defending his father during the campaign. He will do that after he won, but he did not do that when he was campaigning. What did he do? He associated himself. The most prominent image that stuck in my mind as far as his campaign is concerned is the Bangi windmills. That was the image that stuck in the minds of voters. Here's a young person who is able to solve problems, who is able to provide electricity to his constituency. He is a can-do guy. Hindi siya dada ng dada. Meron siyang nagagawa. Now, we all know that histories are contested. I'm preaching to the choir. Nandito yung history department. And histories are likewise contested. The reason why the Marcoses do not need rehabilitation is because we failed. We failed to precisely revise history. Those of us who went through the struggle against the dictatorship, we failed. We did not reach out far enough so that this image of history could be changed. For that reason, walang kailangang rehabilitation. Rehabilitated sila. Akala lang natin, kailangan nila ng rehabilitation, pero yung rehabilitation na yun, hindi nila kailangan. O kaya, hindi na masyadong kailangan ngayon dahil sa pag-inog ng panahon. Maaaring kailangan nila noon, pero ngayon, hindi na. Kaya, uulitin ko, pag tinanong natin ang magiging mga first-time voter o second-time voter, kung ano ang pagkaalam nila sa kay Bongbong, ano impression nila kay Bongbong, iba ang maaaring isagot nila. Baka ang sagot nila, yung pida. Yung involvement ni Bongbong sa pork rather than his association with his father, martial law, and so on and so on. I will end my presentation here. For those of you who are interested in a fuller analysis, you can visit my blog. I wrote several pieces on this issue. Mendoza's blog. Thank you.